I love Project Sekai, and if you're familiar with the multiple, very long videos I've already made about it, you'll know that. But even the things I love aren't perfect, and I just wanted to share some of my hot takes about Project Sekai. Though half of the stuff in this video is more like a wish list for features, so don't worry, it's not all me being a negative Nelly. It also should go without saying, but it bears mentioning that these are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with me on anything I say here, that's fine. I just appreciate it if you didn't feel the need to insult me if you do disagree. Now, with the intro out of the way, let's start the list of hot takes. I think the other menu isn't properly utilized. First of all, this should be where Journey, Gunjo Sanka, and Into the Night should be. It's dumb that they're instead just all available in each of the group's menus. Like, this is the point of having an other section. I also don't think the cup noodle song should be in the group menus either, just keep them in other. And in general, I think having more team crossover songs is long overdue. These are so fun! We get mixed group events all the time. Let the kids sing together sometimes. The songs we play in Sekai aren't really canon to the story anyway, and it would give the devs an excuse to use these nice stages again for the 3D MVs. And on that note, I want to see more than just the team leaders singing together for the 3D MVs. Enna and Irie are friends, let them sing and dance together. Allow Minori, Haruka, An, and Kohane to have a performance after they all hang out together. Let Toya perform with the Tenmas he's so close with. These would be fun! Also, I think we should get 3D MVs for the cup noodle songs. The 2D ones are a lot of fun too, but dang it, I just want to see the siblings interact. This one's kind of a weird one, but I think it'd be cool if you could customize the background NPCs milling around Tokyo. Nothing extensive, but being able to save like 50 little avatars that could pop up around the town would be a lot of fun. Being able to swap out these nobodies for NPCs that resemble you and your friends, other Vocaloids or Utao, original characters, or whatever one can think of sounds delightful. I wish the outfits in an event were more varied sometimes. The 3 outfits that come with a new gacha always match and look like a collection that goes together, but sometimes it's effectively 3 versions of the same exact outfit with the most minimal of changes between them. I feel this happens the most often with more and more jump gachas. Like, I don't need all 3 of these cards when each of their clothes look so dang similar, you know? I wish the boys' outfits were better and more varied in general. I wouldn't call them terrible, and there's plenty of fits that I'd love to pull, but the big problem is definitely how limited they feel. Not only because there are demonstrably less clothes for the boys versus the girls, but looking at what the girls get to wear, they have long dresses, short skirts, shorts, pants, baggy coats, tight coats, long coats, tank tops, long sleeves, all sorts of options and cute different looks to choose from. And the fellas basically just get suits, baggy streetwear, or long coats. For some reason, even something as simple as shorts or short-sleeved shirts are unusually rare for the boys. Like, listen, I love these kids, but I don't need 4 different suits to pick from for them, you know? I'd much rather have variety instead. I think the Mizuki's secret plotline is due to conclude. I think the fact that they haven't rushed through this story has been great, and I am by no means pushing for a hurry Mizuki out of the closet thing. I think this plot has been well written and engaging so far, but I also think it's time to allow Mizuki and Enna to progress forward in this story and be allowed to do more things beyond sort of worry about each other. The fact that Project Sekai doesn't go the route of having the characters endlessly spin their wheels in a perpetual state of status quo is one of the biggest things I like about its story and characters. They're actually willing to let the kids grow and let the dynamics between them change, and I really like what we've seen with Mizuki and Enna so far, and I'm excited to see how they grow and develop into the next step. I look forward to Mizuki finally seeing that their friends really care about them and won't abandon them once they learn their secret, and after 2 real-world years since that secret's been officially established, I just think it's a great time to let these characters take that next step. I will mention that while I'm pretty sure this plot is still going, I don't know for sure what's happened in the events that haven't made their way to the EN server yet. I don't think Mizuki has opened up to Enna yet, but if they have, coolio. On a related note, I don't like how all of Enna's events are exactly the same. She does great as support for those around her, but when the event features Enna, it's always someone undermines her art, she gets upset, and then continues to work on improving. Every time. The events even look the same. Like, listen, as an artist, I can really relate to this, but also Enna is more than just an artist, and I wish she got to do literally anything else when the spotlight is on her sometimes. I want more 3D MVs with only 2 people singing. As of writing this, it's only Charles, Villain, and Fragile that we've got like this so far, and I think they're really fun and lets us get a good window on a pair, where each member gets to really shine in relation to how they interact with each other, in a way that we just don't have time for when there's 5 kids running and dancing around. Leo need only have MVs featuring all 4 kids plus a Vocaloid, because they have to be playing their instruments, which is fine, but even rearranging their positions to clearly put 2 people in front and center could be a fun new way to watch them perform. Limited event gachas should still have the pity system, it's dumb that they don't. Backstory and flashback episodes are the most boring ones. It can be fun seeing the cute little baby versions of our characters, but story-wise, these are always so dull since we know how everything's gonna play out. Half the time it doesn't even flesh out the characters, and instead is just repeating something we already know happened. But in terms of groups, Leonid events are always my least favorite because they feel so far behind everyone else. On paper, watching the kids more realistically struggle with things that go into being a band that many may not think about, like how to write your own songs and selling tickets for shows, is a fun idea. But in practice, it just makes the band feel stuck. While other groups are getting to explore their personal dilemmas, growing as people and developing their relationships with each other and careers alongside their music, Leonid's story feels shallow. They don't get to have adventures climbing trees and coming to grips with how the future may force the group to change. They aren't given the opportunity to put the spotlight on personal growth, because instead, they're always just dealing with the basics that the other groups already have figured out to the point they aren't even mentioned. Sometimes it feels like Leonid, don't even really get to join in with mixed group stories either. Hey, Editing Twins here. I looked up how often each group shows up in mixed events, and surprise, surprise, it's actually quite even. But fascinatingly, there's 2 things that I noticed. First, the big reason Leonid crosses over so often is basically just because of Shio. Shio is the most likely to interact with others, partially because she tends to be used as a fill-in for events that feature the boys, like White Day, and partially because she's sisters with Shizuku. The other interesting thing is that More Jump is by far the group that interacts with the others the least, and the thing that's so dang neat about that is that it's almost always Irie and Shizuku who branch out. Okay, I just thought that was fun. Back to the video. I get disappointed when a gacha theme has nothing to do with the story they go with. Like, obviously some of them will be more fantastical to allow us the chance to get fancy new outfits. Leonid aren't really going to space and the boys aren't becoming knights and warlocks for White Day. But sometimes they'll have a clear theme like motorcycle road trip, but the story is just a flashback to middle school. They don't travel around, most of the conversations are just on the rooftop. Hell, they don't even talk about traveling. They are usually very good at avoiding this, but the few times it happens, it always bums me out a bit. I don't like how forgotten Tsukasa feels. Why doesn't he get to be part of the leader team friend group? Kanade, Kohane, Minori, and Ichika have all by now become friends to some degree. But not Tsukasa, even though there's plenty of ways for him to connect with the other leaders. Kohane is a huge Phoenix Wonderland fan. They could become friends through that, or through Tsukasa's friendship with Toya and Akito. Tsukasa already knows Ichika through Saki, and he could meet Minori through the Hinamori sisters, who he also knows through Saki. He could meet Kanade through Honami, with her being Saki's friend and Kanade's housekeeper, or he could meet Kanade through his friendship with Mizuki, or he could meet her through the Shinanomes because he's already friends with Akito. But no, Nene gets to be in the friend group instead because girl, I guess. And on top of Tsukasa being perhaps the most connected member of the story and yet being the one who gets to interact with others the least, it feels like more often than not, the game treats Emu like the team leader instead. I don't mind that she's intrinsically connected to Wonderland Showtime's plot through her family owning the theme park. In fact, I think it's a really great element to the story and her character. But goddamn, not only did the main story put a lot of emphasis on Emu over Tsukasa, but the events seem to forget about our troop leader too. And maybe it's because all 4 members of Wonderland Showtime feel fleshed out with their own personal plots running alongside the team's ongoing narrative that makes Tsukasa feel a bit pushed to the back, but I just can't help but feel like we could be seeing more of Tsukasa more often. The April Fool's specials have been pretty nice, but I think I have way better ideas for the future, that are also kind of impractical, but I still think these would just be neat. First idea, gender bend everyone. We could get new versions of all their starting songs, like Composing the Future and Ready Steady. It would be fun, and the only one who wouldn't change would be Mizuki, who is the one reacting to how different this version of Tokyo is. Like, Mizuki falls asleep and wakes up in this parallel world and has fun adventures seeing these versions of their friends. Second idea for April Fool's Day, instead of focusing on our usual collection of musicians, we instead focus on other people they know. So, instead of Leonid, we get Iori, Mio, Miyu, and Saku. I'd have them cover Teo. Instead of More Jump, we spend time with Mai, Nanamine, Riho, and Arisa covering Vampire. Instead of Vivid Bad Squad, we get Kotaro, Arata, Soma, and Tatsuya singing Alter Ego. Instead of Wonderland Showtime, we focus on Sakurako. That is her name, yeah. Instead of Wonderland Showtime, we focus on Sakurako, Yuka, Asai, and Kigurumi covering Telecaster B-Boy. And Night Chord doesn't really talk to a whole lot of people, so their options are sort of limited, but let's go with Futaba and Mizuki's sister covering Charles. Again, totally impractical, but a very fun idea if I do say so myself. And finally, I think it's time for my hottest of takes, and the thing that will prompt the most angry comments. My least favorite character is Shio, and before you run down to tell me why I'm stupid or accuse me of not reading the story, just hear me out a little, because I've mentioned that I don't like Shio before, and a few people really chose to take that a bit too personally, which is why I think I also ought to reiterate that this is just my opinion. Just because I don't like this fictional, not real, character doesn't mean I think you are a bad person if you do like her, because that would be ludicrous, judging a person based on whether or not they think a character from a rhythm game is cool or not. If Shio's your favorite, that's swell, and I'm not trying to change your mind or anything like that. I respect your opinion even if it's different from mine, and I just ask that you offer the same respect to me. That being said, I'm gonna explain why I don't like Shio, for all those people who did decide, oh, she must be a stupid person who didn't understand the story if she doesn't like Shio. First of all, her excuse for not staying friends with the rest of the band was super weak. She chooses to be rude to people, and then goes, oh, you guys will be bullied if you're friends with me because people don't like how rude I am. So even though Saki's crying and saying how badly she misses her friends, Shio decides she'd rather get to be rude to others than just learn to be polite enough to not have to worry about her friends getting picked on due to her own actions. And her backstory event doesn't even help her case, as we see the other girls trying to talk to Shio about everything, and Shio deliberately deciding to avoid them, and then acting like she's being pushed away like girl. The main issue I have with Shio, though, is how she treats her friends. Shittily. Holding your friendship hostage in exchange for favors isn't okay. Saki was in the hospital for most of her life, and all she wants to do now that she's out is get to play music with her friends again, and yet Shio only cares about herself. You can play with me if you're good enough to push me into a record label. I'll only keep playing with you if you drop all of your own goals and ambitions to go pro with me. That's fucking toxic, and to have the audacity to tell Saki she's not allowed to go to Phoenix Wonderland so much because they need to dedicate every waking second to working on going pro, like, she was in the hospital, dude. She made a list of things she wants to finally get to experience, and you're telling her she's not allowed to do that if she wants to keep you as a friend and band member? Not okay. And even at a small scale, Shio sucks. She puts all this emphasis on how hard it is to go pro when every other group is excelling in their musical endeavors while also getting to have fun. The squad's selling out whole venues and getting to go camping, the circus ambassadors having fun at the beach, Night Court and the idols with their successful online careers alongside their adventures to the theme park and cafes. They don't have to spend all their free time practicing, and they're more successful than Leonid. But that's it, and those are all my hot takes. And really, this was just a fun little video. I'm not dying on any of these hills, you know? And even as I was working on this video, some things I was gonna mention have already been addressed. Like, I had a whole paragraph complaining about how cluttered the virtual singer section was, just to realize they whittled down the songs in that menu to no longer include covers with the groups anymore. With time, I'm sure everything I talked about here will get addressed to some degree. And hell, even Shio has been a lot more tolerable in more recent events. So let me know what your Project Sekai hot takes are, and don't forget that even with these complaints, I still adore this game, and we're all just here to have a fun time discussing a game we all like. See you next time, where I'll be back to the usual gushing about this game I do so often in another probably too long video.
Got into LA today, and I don't know if this happened to you guys. As soon as I stepped off the plane here, the air hit my eyes, and my eyes would not stop watering. I was like, oh my god, wait. So I went to the doctor here. I thought it was gonna be allergies. Plot twist, it was not allergies. Turns out, depression.
Going somewhere new for a change. Just look around you, isn't it exciting? I mean, just look at me. Look how excited I'm getting. All right. Well, it's better than whatever we'd be doing at home, isn't it?
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
Call this the start of my victory trip. You can't compete with the way I quip. Oh! I always buy organic because I'm rich as a gold digger. I should probably not continue. Here we go!
Good luck, Aaron.
Oh yeah!
Oh my god, it's working!
Whoa!
Oh my god, you genius! Shoot the fan! Shoot the fan!
Howdy, thanks so much for watching. I just figured that while we did the Patreon shout out here, I'd actually discuss my Patreon a little bit, because I know a lot of people don't know about it, actually. At the $5 tier and up, you not only get access to my Discord, but also you get access to a bunch of bonus videos that I've made. Most of them have been song covers. I do a lot of Vocaloid covers using Utao, and I do remixes as well. And today, I'll also be uploading a bonus video for patrons, discussing some Project Sekai OCs that I've made. It's a real fun time, just fun little videos, so if that sounds like stuff that you might be interested in, then come on by and have some fun, and if not, that's okay too. Alright, thanks for being here, and adios.